could travel back 2,000 years, you would find the same anxiety that drives men today, the fear of not having enough. Different clothes, different cities, but the same hunger. The same restless pulse beneath marble temples and glowing screens. Money has always been a mirror. It reflects not what you own, but what you believe about yourself. And through that reflection, entire civilizations have risen and collapsed. The Greeks didn't measure wealth in gold alone. They believed that fortune was a test, a divine experiment to reveal a man's soul. Plato wrote that the real danger of wealth was not corruption, but confusion. It made men forget the difference between value and price. Aristotle saw wealth as a tool, something to be used in service of virtue, never as the goal of life. But he also understood a darker truth. The human mind is insatiable. Give it what it wants, and it will invent new desires. He called this the unnatural pursuit of gain, a disease of the spirit disguised as progress. And that same disease thrives today. We still chase zeros, not meaning. We still trade time for comfort and comfort for emptiness. In Rome, Seneca warned that money has never yet made anyone rich. He meant that riches without peace are nothing more than gilded poverty. He lived in marble halls, yet spent his days writing about simplicity, because he understood that the cost of abundance is freedom. Every ancient thinker, from Socrates to Marcus Aurelius, carried a single obsession: how to live well in a world obsessed with having more. They knew that the mind could be both master and slave, and money, in the wrong hands, was a chain disguised as a crown. We believe we are modern, sophisticated, immune to the follies of the past. But look closer. The same patterns remain. The stock exchange has replaced the temple. The influencers, the orators, the logos on our clothes, the crests of our houses. And yet the hunger remains unchanged. The ancients would have laughed at our confusion, because to them the real secret of wealth was not acquisition, but alignment. To align one's life with reason, discipline, and virtue. When you master yourself, fortune becomes secondary. When you lose yourself, even abundance turns to ash. Socrates said that a man is richest when his pleasures are cheapest, not because he hated luxury, but because he understood that craving turns kings into beggars. He saw money as a servant, one that obeys only those who command it without need. And that is the first timeless rule. You do not earn money, you attract it by the person you become. The second rule is older than any coin. Wealth flows to clarity and flees from confusion. No merchant in Athens, no senator in Rome ever grew rich without understanding value. The Stoics called it logos, the principle of order in all things. To know your aim, to act with purpose, to spend with intention. That was their formula, because confusion leaks fortune faster than any thief. The third rule was written not on paper, but in silence. It was the art of restraint. Seneca practiced it. Epictetus lived by it. Marcus Aurelius wrote it in the margins of his thoughts. He who can delay pleasure, they said, will eventually own the world, because markets, trends, and empires reward patience and punish impulse. And nothing is more valuable than the man who waits while others chase. The fourth rule is about service. In the Roman Forum, traders were not judged by their riches, but by their usefulness. A man who created value, who made something, taught something, solved something, was honored. But a man who chased gold without purpose was despised. They knew what we've forgotten, that money follows contribution, not desire. And then there is the fifth rule, perhaps the most painful of all. Fortune is loyal only to discipline. To awake before others, to think longer, to endure boredom, to suffer repetition, these were virtues, not punishments, because the gods, they believed, did not reward ambition. They rewarded endurance. The sixth rule is about detachment. Lao Tzu from the East said, "When you stop chasing, you begin to see." He understood that what even the Stoics hinted at, that obsession blinds the eye. The man who worships money cannot see opportunities. The man who values wisdom sees money everywhere. And the seventh rule, the final one, is the rule of legacy. Marcus Aurelius wrote that what we do now echoes in eternity. To the ancients, wealth was never meant to die with the body. It was a current, a moral inheritance. A man's real fortune was the virtue he left in those he taught, raised, or inspired. So, what do we make of these forgotten laws? We chase faster, consume more, compare endlessly, but still feel empty, as if the gods themselves had withdrawn their favor. Perhaps they haven't. Perhaps they're just waiting for us to remember that the only wealth that lasts is the one that cannot be stolen. Wisdom, integrity, time. The ancients would tell you that the richest man is not the one with the fullest vault, but the one who can sleep peacefully in an empty room. Because money, like fire, was never meant to rule us, only to serve. And the moment it becomes your master, you are already poor. So take what you need, share what you can, and when fortune visits, don't kneel. Invite her to sit and remind her who she serves.